You know, it was quite by accident that I got involved in radio. I happened to do a job when I owned a private consulting practice that had running an agency. And the agency had a radio show that was a half an hour long, and you would interview a guest for 15 minutes, and then you would take calls for 15 minutes. And I only did it to fill in my responsibility on an interim basis. And a couple of years later, after we stopped doing the show at the agency, the current general manager, Calvin Quarles, came to me and asked me to do radio. He said that I had a unique, velvety voice that was very unique, and he wanted me to consider it. And I really didn't think about it at all. I turned him down for 3 years, and he reminds me of that all the time, because what he actually did was help me discover my love of radio. I think it is the best thing that has ever been invented, and I am grateful to him always for keeping after me and allowing me to go ahead and get started. That's what I love to do, and I would do it all day long if I could. You know, I really do think there's some difference between radio and television. I think it's kind of like reading a book versus seeing a movie. My imagination can take me away when I'm reading words on a paper, when I'm listening to someone on the radio. One of the reasons I believe that the imagination takes us in many directions is because almost every person who meets me says, "I didn't think you looked like that. I thought you were dark-skinned. I thought you were much bigger. I thought you had bigger bones," all those kinds of things. And so I think radio allows us to play with our imagination and to make of the show and the person whatever it is we wish to make of them. You know, I think it's the village, the people who really make the show, because they not only get back to us with what their interests are, but they spread love. They defy myths by calling in and displaying for the world, 200,000 people worldwide, the beauty of Black intellect. The myths around our inferiority are absolutely debunked on the show. I think the community is full of love and a desire to have its own voice and to represent itself and to define itself. And I think Urban Agenda somehow gives a spiritually unique space, 1 hour a week every week, that feels different when you're in the studio. People tell me that when Urban Agenda comes on, it's almost like the radio station transforms, and I think it's because the ancestors are present and they're waiting for the village to represent all the things that are beautiful about being vanilla, cinnamon, and chocolate brown. My husband teases me because when I first was doing the show, I don't know that anybody knew who I was in terms of my voice or whatever it was. But I think over the last 5 years since I've been doing the show, I think my voice has changed. Actually, my radio voice has become my regular voice or something. And so we will be at the Dakota Jazz Club, and I'm there with my husband and my father's dearest friend, and a woman says, shh, that's Urban Agenda. And it's happened at Honey Baked Ham over Thanksgiving, and it's been happening more and more. And so the love of the people who listen to the show is amazing, and it fills me up in a way that is quite unique to that community. And it reminds me why I love African American culture, and it reminds me why I love doing Urban Agenda. You know what I guess I'd like to say at 44, I think I'm the luckiest woman in the universe. I'm married to the love of my life. I get to do a radio show that celebrates my culture and teaches other people about the beauty of all things Black. I absolutely have a job I adore and family that is just marvelous. They always show up in unique ways, just like my brother who came to put us on YouTube for the first time ever. My other brother who can manipulate a computer and make me look absolutely phenomenally beautiful. My husband who puts up with my Scorpio personality. And kids who might not always do what I say, but whose love transcends everything else that's hard in this world. So I think I'm the luckiest woman at 44, and thank you for letting me do this show.